sure to check out Ageless Geeks for your figures and collectibles. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Mark IV War Machine. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at the box. So we do of course get the basic looking style box when it comes to the SH Figuarts MCU line. And this one is just a little wider compared to what we usually do get with these figures. So we do get the window right there on the front of the box, and on the window in gold does say War Machine Mark IV, and then we do get his logo or symbol as well. On the top says SH Figuarts. Then we do get the Tamashii Nations quality sticker. We get a sick image of War Machine, says Marvel Avengers Infinity War, Tamashii Nations, and Bandai. And then here is the bottom of the box with the warning and blubber well stuff nobody cares about. And then we do get a badass image of the figure there. Here's the top of the box. And then the one side of it with a tiny image of the War Machine figure. Then here's the other side of the box. And the back of it to show a bunch of cool poses you can get the figure into, along with some of the accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure over to take a closer look at Tony Stark's best friend, Rhodey, aka War Machine. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and Tamashii Nations, I think, knocked it out of the park with this Mark IV War Machine. I never gotten a War Machine figure from them before, so I'm not too familiar to how good those figures were before the Mark 1, 2, and 3, and I'm not entirely sure how accurate this is to Infinity War, but I'm pretty sure it's close if it's not entirely accurate. Now the head sculpt here looks great. Love the sculpted lines on the faceplate. We do get the red under the translucent plastic for the eyes, which look pretty cool, and I love that gunmetal gray, that very dark gray that they mixed with the silver and the red on there. I just dig the way that looks. Very cool looking. I do wish on the gunmetal gray they added like a black wash or something. I think that would have looked really nice on this figure. But I love all the red spots throughout the armor there, and the silver. It looks really nice too. Beautiful clean paintwork throughout that gunmetal gray, the silver, and the red. I don't see any paint bleeding anywhere. I do see a little bit of silver paint misting on the bicep right there, but that's really it for paint issues there. Then we do get the arc reactor, which is a translucent plastic and painted red underneath. Love all the sculpted lines all throughout the torso. These pieces look pretty cool up on the shoulders, which are connected to the missiles and stuff on the back. And we do have his machine gun, I believe, right there. And I don't know what type of weapons these are, but you could swap these out, and this out as well. And everything just turned out really nice on the back there. Beautiful sculpt and paintwork. And then the arms here do get some nice sculpt and paint there, as you can see. Elbow joints blend in beautifully on this figure, just like with the Iron Man figures. And there it says Mark IV. That's what I'm guessing that 4 stands for. And I'm guessing these are like some sort of weapons on the forearms. Not entirely sure. I need to watch the movie again. And then for the legs here, the legs look pretty good too. Very clean paintwork, nice sculpt as well. Knee joints blend in beautifully, just like with the elbow joints, just like with the Ironing Board Man figures. And I believe just the feet are die-cast metal. I don't think the lower legs are. I could be mistaken though. I'm pretty sure it's just the feet, like with the Iron Man figures. Very nice sculpt and paint though on the back and the front there. And then the bottom, we do get a little bit of sculpt work along with some peg holes. But overall, I think Tamashii Nations did knock it out of the park with this War Machine. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure if it's 100% accurate. It might be, or it might be a little off. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get a bunch of really cool stuff included with this War Machine, and we do get a good amount of accessories as well. So first and foremost, we do get the Tamashii Nations Act, whichever stand that they've been giving with these MCU characters. So as you can see, it has the base here, which you can open up and store, I guess, accessories in there or parts of the stand, and then it does have the War Machine logo and says War Machine Mark IV. Then we do have the stand here, and the clamp piece, you can have this one where it has the 3 clamp pieces, well technically 1 clamp piece and then this extra piece there, or you can make it where it's just the regular clamp there. And it does have some pretty good articulation. It does swivel at the bottom, hinges at the bottom, and then hinges over there, swivels there, hinge here, swivel, hinge, and hinge. So definitely a decent amount of articulation with that. So we do get that, and then we do get 6 different blast effects with the repulsor blast and flight poses. So we technically get 7 different types of effects, but we do get the 6 basic ones that we always get with all the Iron Man figures, and I'm sure we've gotten with past War Machine figures. So we do have the flight pose ones, so we do have the larger ones and the smaller ones. The larger ones are for the feet, and the smaller ones are for the hands, and they do have the basic sculpt and paintwork to them, as you can see, and they are translucent plastic as well. So we do get the flight pose ones, and then we do get the repulsor blast ones here. Basic paint and sculpt work, as you can see, in the translucent plastic as well. They just forgot to paint white on the inside. As you can see, they did it on this one, but not on that one, and I'll show you how to put those on right now quickly. So the way you get the repulsor blast on and the flight pose blast effects is just like with Iron Man figures. So for the feet, they do have a peg. We do have the peg on the bottom of the foot, so all you do is just peg them in like so, and they won't fall out or anything like that. If you like move the legs around like that, they will pop off, but they stay in there well enough. And the way you get the ones on the hands on, the flight pose ones, all you do is just peg it on these hands here that have the peg on the palm right there, and then same with the repulsor blast one. You just peg that on like so, and then there you go, as simple as that. And as I'm going to mention, the guard on the top of the hand does hinder the articulation, so you can't really get him to shoot it like evenly with his arm, you know what I mean? So it looks a little weird since that piece of armor does hinder some of his wrist articulation. So we do get those blast effects, and then we also get his swappable weapons. We have missile launchers, the machine guns, and then we do get another blast effect. So we do have these pieces here, and these are the ones that go over his shoulders. I guess they're the missiles. Well, it shoots out that side. I was showing you the wrong side, but we do get some nice sculpt and a little bit of paint detail on them, as you can see. So we do get those ones for the shoulders, and these ones go on the lower back. I'm not entirely sure what the hell these are. Probably some sort of weapons. And these go under those missiles right there. So we do get those, and this does have some very nice sculpt and paint detail to it. And then we get my favorite out of all his weapons, the machine gun with the blast effect. And the sculpt of this looks really cool, especially on the top there. Really dig the way this looks, and it does have a bunch of articulation to it, which I'll show you once I put it on the figure. And then we do get the blast effect here, which is my favorite blast effect out of all of them. Very nice sculpt on that, and it is a orange translucent plastic. It does have a peg, because it does peg right into here like that. And I'm going to show you what all his weapons look like on him right now. And the way you get all his weapons on the back there is really simple. So for the ones right here that go on the shoulder, all you do is, well, first, to make it easier, I would remove the middle one, which is the machine gun. So you can remove that. I'll put that one on last. But these ones on the top, they're just pegged in, so just wiggle them back and forth, and they will pop off. Make sure you have the correct one in the right space, and I believe the peg is not shaped a certain way, so it doesn't matter, and you can mess up which way you put it in. But these should be going over the shoulder, of course, and then take the other one here, peg that one in, and then these ones here, they just pop right off as well. Come on, Boston. It's either wiggle it back and forth or swivel it. Then take these ones here and just peg these in, and these can swivel and hinge back and forth. These ones do not articulate, and do the same thing on the other side. And then last but not least, get the coolest weapon here, and the peg is right there, so you would just peg that in like so. And this is also articulated, so there's a hinge down there, there's also a swivel, then another hinge, then we get a swivel here, and then a swivel up there. I feel like we needed another hinge up here, because sometimes you can't get it to look really good over his shoulder right there. His head sometimes gets in the way. I feel like they should have added one more piece on there, but it is good enough. And then if you want the dope blast effect here, you just peg that in, and then there you go. You have him with all his cool weaponry on, and this just really makes the figure so much better. And I'm definitely going to have him posed probably like this on my shelf. So we do get all of his awesome weaponry, and then we finally get 8 alternate hands. And starting on the top right here, we do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging. And then we do get a pair of karate chippity chop chop hands, and we do get a pair of regular open resting type hands, then we do get a pair of repulsor blast hands with the peg on the palm. And it's like they always force you to use the blast effects with the repulsor blast hands. I wish they would give us a pair of these hands without the peg on it, but all the hands are fairly simple to swap out. It's just the armor on the top of the hand does limit some of his wrist articulation, and we do get some very nice sculpt and paint detail throughout all 8 hands. But anyway, that is all the awesome accessories included with War Machine. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Rhodey to the very top of his helmet, it looks like he's a little bit over 6 inches and a quarter of an inch tall. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thor, the Mark 7 Iron Man, the Infinity War Black Widow, and the Infinity War Bucky. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thanos, the Infinity War Hulk, the Infinity War Black Panther, and the Marvel Legends Killmonger. And then here he is compared to the Storm Collectible Smoke, the SH Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the Mephix Justice League Batman, and the Figma Black Swordsman Guts. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku, and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and for the most part we do get some very nice movement with this figure. Some points are a little hindered or aren't as good as others, but like I said, for the most part you do get some nice articulation. So we do have 2 joints at the neck here. The upper neck joint is like a barbell type joint, so you can get War Machine to look up about that much, which is pretty good for flight poses. And then with the upper neck, doesn't really look down, he just pretty much looks straight ahead, but you do get very nice pivot at that upper neck joint. And then of course it does swivel, does get hindered a bit by the shoulder pieces there. Then the lower neck here goes forward and back a great amount. Sometimes the lower part of the neck gets caught on this piece, so you have to tuck it under if that does happen. But he does pretty much have the same movement as the Figuarts Iron Man figures. As you see, it keeps getting stuck. But with both joints, you can get him to look down pretty much all the way. In both joints, you can get him to look up a little bit more. So once again, great for flight poses. Then you do get a bit of pivot there, which is pretty good. And then it does swivel as well. So very nice movement with both those neck joints. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso, at the upper abdomen there. Wow, I can't talk real good today. That joint goes forward a tiny bit. Doesn't really go back too much though, so you get better forward movement. I don't believe the joint shifts up or anything like that, but there's the forward and back movement. You do get a little bit of pivot there, and then does it swivel? Slightly swivels. Then the waist, you get better movement, I believe, at the waist. Does go not too good forward. The torso goes better forward. That's both joints going forward, so not the best forward movement with both the joints, but going back, nice movement with the waist there. So once again, great for flight poses. Tiny bit of pivot, and then you do get swivel there as well. So okay articulation combining the torso and the waist. Now the arms here, we do have the shoulder pad piece, which is on a hinge, so it does hinge up and down. And then the arms can shift in, and you can shift them out to avoid paint rub on around the arm right there, just like with the Iron Man figures. And you get a beautiful circular motion out of the arm, as you can see right there. And they do go out to the side about 90 degrees, which is definitely good. They do go up and down. We do have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that bend in all the way, so that is awesome. Then we do just have a ball peg on the wrist, so it does move around a little bit and it does swivel. The pieces on the hand here, the hand armor, does get in the way a lot of the wrist articulation, so that is a bit disappointing. Now for the legs here, well, these pieces on the hips can hinge up and down a tiny bit, so kind of moves a tad bit out of the way with the leg articulation, but not too much. But the legs do shift down a tiny bit, so you can get War Machine to kick forward about 90 degrees. Be careful not to have the hip or thigh piece rub up on the crotch piece. You don't want to cause any damage there. And then it does go back about 90 degrees. Let's see if War Machine can. Jean-Claude Van Damme it, and he really can't. They go out a little more than 45 degrees, which is definitely good. And then you do get a little bit of swivel at that hip joint. And then the upper thigh, we have a ball peg type joint, I believe, so you can move that all around just like the Iron Man figure, forward and back, pivot, and swivel as well. So nice movement at the legs, or the upper thigh and the leg joints there. Then we do have double jointed knees that do bend back pretty much all the way, so that's definitely good. And then the ankles here, well, these pieces, the armor on the front hinges up and down a tiny bit, and then just like Iron Man, the heel piece does hinge outward, so it gets out of the way of the ankle movement. So big plus right there, but you just get a little bit of swivel because the side pieces of the armor do hinder that ankle movement. But you can get War Machine's ankles forward that much. If this piece moved a little bit more, you would get more articulation out of it. It does hinge down a lot, and then you get a really nice ankle pivot out of this War Machine, and then you do have a very tight toe hinge. So overall, you do get some very nice articulation with Rhodey here, but some points are hindered or just aren't as good as other points of articulation, which I guess is to be expected because he is much more bulkier than like the Iron Man figures, but you're still going to be able to get him in some pretty cool War Machine-like poses, and I'm about to show you something right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the SH Figuarts Infinity War Mark IV War Machine. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd definitely have to give it an even 9. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine from Agelessgeeks, so you can check on their website at agelessgeeks.com. If you can't find it on there, I do highly recommend going through their Instagram or their Facebook page. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. Let's get this figure, but take a closer look at special stands that they've been giving with the MCU figures. We do get a pair of fists, of course, which do come on the figure out of the packaging, and then but anyway, that's all the awesome accessories included with Warpath. Wrong Marvel universe. That's X-Men.